Okay, so we have the second episode of the second season, The Cave of Two Lovers, and this is one I would not describe as a filler episode. And let me explain something real fast, because a lot of people are like, oh no, come on, this episode's coming back later, or these little elements are coming back later. When I say filler episode, I'm not meaning, first of all, I'm not meaning wasted time. Filler episodes can be fine, because what filler episodes do, they allow you to not focus entirely on the story, and instead focus on elements that might seem minor but are important, elements of character, elements of environment, but it's not necessarily furthering the story. Maybe a little element is, but, that may come in later, which a lot of them do, but for the most part it's focusing on letting the characters and the environment breathe. Which I am all for. Something like a lot of Christopher Nolan works. I've been picking on Nolan a lot recently, I apologize, but he's just an easy example. Are very much story focused, an exposition, story, exposition. I feel something. Oh, well, story, exposition, speech. And something like Avatar is a much better balance, because they can take those episodes to just let the characters be a character, or let environment be an environment, let you explore it, let it feel real, without having to go story. So I'm fine with that. Now, with that said, anyway, I don't necessarily see this as a filler episode, where a lot probably could. First of all, we get a lot with Zuko and the uncle again, which, you can't have a filler episode after the last one. The last one, just so much happened. So we got establishing what they're going to do now, because that's a good question. What are they going to do now that they're leaving the Fire Nation? And then we also have growing the relationship between Aang and Katara, which I thought was handled much nicer here than in the past, which is not to say it was handled badly, but it could have been handled better. And I like the way they're doing this. This is where they get caught in the cave with these, for lack of a better term, hippies. They're obviously trying to satirize hippies. And I thought the hippies were funny. I can see people finding them annoying. I don't know what the general outlook on them is, and I can definitely see people being like, oh my god, I hope I never see these characters again. But I thought they were pretty funny, maybe for kind of my dislike of some hippies. But there's nice hippies too, but just some of them can be annoying. Pretty much I'll talk about the cave part first. I like this backstory of the cave. It's essentially Romeo and Juliet, but with a few nice twists to sort of make it their own story. I like the light going out and seeing however they did that, the crystals on top. I thought that was very clever. Again, creates its own unique thing, because I don't think there's any crystals out there that will shine in the dark, complete darkness. And that's a good riddle, too, because who would want to go completely in the dark? It's very smart. I like that. And I like when they do the backstories, too. They do those. This looks like watercolor. I think it was. I like that the show does stuff with that it does things so not traditional, particularly in kid shows, and I really like that. And they don't do it just because it's different. They do it because it really ties in and it really creates the environment. So I'm a big fan of that. Also, even though there's a little bit of sort of the typical romantic comedy elements in there, like, I enjoy it when she says, maybe we should kiss, maybe that's what they're talking about. She's blushing. Of course, Aang's gonna say the wrong thing, and she's gonna take it a different way, and they're gonna feud a bit. I'm not a fan of that, but they get past it very quickly. But what I really enjoy is that they actually did show it was a genuinely romantic moment when, even if it's between two kids, when the light is dimming, for all they know, this could be the last time they could see each other. And I like the way they did. As the light got darker and darker, they got closer and closer. And it's the first, for me, it's the first really romantic kiss where you never see the kiss. You don't even see the outline or the silhouette. It goes totally black. Very effective. And very romantic. I think a lot of people think, oh, well, he doesn't like romance, or the typical guy. It's like, romance is great if effort's put into it, and I think that was such a cleverly staged and well-paced moment. Again, particularly for a kid show, so I was really impressed with how they pulled that off. So I like that, and I like the humor with the hippies. I thought was good. The humor with Sokka interacting with the hippies. Let's be honest, that's where a lot of comedy is coming from. I love the where to get that mark on the head, and when the one hippie says, "I don't like it out, but I think that kid's the Avatar," and he smacks the. I mean, that's great. That's really good physical humor right there. Good visual humor. So that was good, but the other element that I found very interesting is the other story going on with Zuko and the uncle trying to figure out what they're going to do next. I question a little bit that, we'll see where it goes, but I question a little bit that nobody would be able to point out a chubby old man and a kid with almost no hair and a giant scarred eye in the shape of one of Ryu's fireballs. I mean, this should be the easiest person to point out and find. Used to be prince of the enemy of the world. It's like trying to find Hitler. You could probably locate him pretty easily. But, so, kid show. You know, that's nitpicky. You let it slide. So you got them. They come across this family. I think it was in the Earthbending Nation. I'm not sure. They got a little bit of comedy with that again with the uncle. I love how he eats this flower. It's either something really good or poisonous. It turns out it's poisonous, but he's still very relaxed about it. In a few hours, my neck will swell up and I won't be able to breathe. But luckily, I found these berries. Oh wait, do these kill you or make you better? And I love how laid back he is, even on the most extreme things. Particularly with his life. Maybe that's what I like about it. I like that it's more about sort of his life and his need to relax and his need to help others relax. You know, but when others are put in jeopardy, then he'll sort of, you know, like when the moon was being threatened, he'll step up. So I like that. But what I really enjoy is they find this family, particularly this one girl who also lost her father, also is scarred. And they give them shelter, they give them food, they treat them, they treat the scars and the burns, or the swelling that the uncle has, and they talk and they share, and Zuko is obviously still very hurt by what's happened, but he does listen, and you think you know where it's going to go. Well, Zuko's outlook on everything is totally going to change, and he's going to do something nice for them, or he's going to realize something. No, they steal the horse, or whatever that was. They steal it, and even the uncle, who doesn't like doing it, agrees to do it too, because they are outlaws, and they're still, you know, their background. They came from a world that is looking to take over everything, and mercy is weak, and so on and so forth, and they need to survive. So I really, really like that it didn't end on a happy note, necessarily, and Zuko was not even that apologetic. You could tell maybe he felt a twinge bad, but I mean, he could have used his fire and been like, you know, aha, suckers, and steal the horse. But no, they do it quietly in the night. And I also like that the girl sees it. She sees them steal the horse and just sort of looks ashamed and closes the door. It's a very, I mean, that's the word I think I'm looking for. That ending is just, you feel ashamed to watch it. That these people were so nice and they still steal that way, and they both feel like they don't have a choice. And it was very adult. You don't even see that in too much adult stuff. I mean, at least not, blockbusters or anything like that. So I really... That was really good. It was a very bittersweet feeling, leaning even more towards the bitter, really. So I like it because it doesn't make as obvious what direction he's going to go, or where they're going to go. Obviously, they're not with the Fire Nation anymore, but are they going to go find the Avatar? You think maybe they're going to fight against the Fire Nation and help everyone else? But no, they still sort of have this philosophy. This is philosophy they've been raised with for years, so I really enjoy that. I thought that was a very good mix of that. So you got an episode really of people connecting, relating off each other. You got Aang and Katara, you got the uncle and Zuko, and then you also have even Sokka and the hippies. You know, he's annoyed by them, but at the same time they do sort of learn a little bit off each other. Not much, but a little bit. And on top of that, at the end, it quickly brings it back to the story where they get to the Minas Tirith city, I always call it, and they find it's been taken over by the Fire Nation, and that's a good area to leave it on. It's just like, oh no, what about the crazy leaf-eating king? That's what I remember the most about him, that eating that leaf. That was so weird. But nevertheless, so that's a good to be continued. You sort of like that, even if you did sort of think this was a filler episode, like, oh, no, we're coming back, we're bringing it back. Again, really good episode, and a good follow-up to such a strong start in that last one. So, yeah, very much enjoy it. Again, you probably heard me say that a lot, but it's a good episode. It's another good episode, and I look forward to the next one. See you there.